Can Ozempic-like drugs help Parkinson's disease? A new study says no for now. Introduction. Over the past few years, drugs like Ozempic and others in its family have gained fame for helping people lose weight and manage diabetes. These medications, part of a group known as GLP-1 receptor agonists, have transformed how we think about appetite, blood sugar, and even fat storage. But recently, scientists began to wonder, if these medications have such powerful effects on the body, could they also help the brain? Specifically, researchers hope that GLP-1 drugs could slow down the effects of serious brain disorders like Parkinson's disease, a condition that slowly damages the part of the brain that controls movement, often leading to tremors, stiffness, and difficulty walking. After some small early studies showed promise, hopes were high. But now a much larger and more carefully designed study has brought disappointing news. One of these drugs, called exenatide, didn't help at all. What does this mean for people living with Parkinson's? Could there still be hope in this class of medication? And what lessons can we take from this result? In this episode, we'll explore what the new research really says and what still remains to be learned. Parkinson's disease affects millions of people around the world. It is a progressive disorder, meaning it gets worse over time, and while medications exist to help manage symptoms, there is no known cure. In recent years, scientists have started to explore whether GLP-1 drugs, which influence how insulin works and how fat is used, could have protective effects on the brain. The excitement came from a few earlier studies, many of them small, that showed people with Parkinson's who took exenatide might have slower symptom progression. These studies suggested the drug could possibly protect brain cells or reduce inflammation in the nervous system. Given the urgent need for treatments that can actually slow the disease down, not just manage symptoms, many in the research world were hopeful that this class of drugs might offer a new pathway. To test this idea more thoroughly, scientists in the United Kingdom launched a large clinical trial involving 194 people with moderate Parkinson's disease. Half of the participants received exenatide once a week by injection, while the other half received a placebo, a harmless substance with no active drug. The study was designed to last nearly 2 years, long enough to detect whether the drug had any long-term effects on how Parkinson's progressed. Unfortunately, when the trial concluded, the results were clear. People who took exenatide did not experience any slower progression of symptoms compared to those on the placebo. Their movement problems continued at the same pace, and there were no significant improvements in brain function. While exenatide did help lower body weight and blood sugar levels, just like it does in people with diabetes, these effects didn't translate into brain health benefits for people with Parkinson's. This was a major letdown for many scientists and patients alike. Earlier studies had created hope that GLP-1 drugs might not only help with weight loss and diabetes, but also serve as tools to protect the brain. But this larger, better controlled trial casts serious doubt on that idea, at least when it comes to exenatide. Some experts point out that this result doesn't mean all GLP-1 drugs are useless for brain diseases. There are many drugs in the GLP-1 family, and they differ slightly in structure and how they interact with the body. It's possible that other drugs, such as liraglutide, semaglutide, used in Ozempic and Wegovy, or newer versions being developed, might still show some benefit. One small study using a different drug, exenatide, did show signs of slowing motor symptoms in early Parkinson's disease, which keeps the door open for future exploration. Still, this trial is a strong reminder that what works in animal studies or small human trials may not always hold up under more rigorous testing. Scientists now say that before launching more big studies, we need to understand how exactly these drugs work in the brain. What are they changing? Which pathways are they influencing? Why might some patients respond and others not at all? Experts like Dr. David Standert, a neurologist at the University of Alabama, emphasize the need to go back to the lab and clarify what we should expect these drugs to do in the brain. Are they targeting inflammation, protecting nerve cells, or perhaps improving brain energy use? If we don't have clear answers, it becomes harder to design future trials in a way that has the best chance for success. At the same time, it's important to remember what this trial does not mean. It does not mean that GLP-1 drugs are harmful for people with Parkinson's. It also does not mean that they don't help with weight management, blood sugar, or other conditions they're already approved to treat. In fact, for people with Parkinson's who also have type 2 diabetes or obesity, GLP-1 drugs may still be valuable for those issues, but just not for slowing down the disease itself. For now, researchers are regrouping. Some are exploring whether combining GLP-1 drugs with other treatments could enhance their effects. Others are diving deeper into how the brain processes these medications at the cellular level. There's also curiosity about whether these drugs could offer benefits for other brain conditions, such as Alzheimer's disease, though those studies are still in early stages. Conclusion: the findings of this major study offer an important reality check for the medical and research communities. While the hope for a breakthrough treatment was high, the results emphasize the need for caution, clarity, and patience when exploring new therapies, especially for complex brain disorders like Parkinson's. The disappointment is real, but it also moves science forward by ruling out what doesn't work and sharpening the questions we ask next. This is not the end of the story for GLP-1 drugs in brain health, but it's a pause. More targeted research, better understanding of brain pathways, and careful patient selection will be needed to see if any members of this drug family may yet have a place in treating Parkinson's or other neurodegenerative diseases. For now, the focus returns to the lab, where real progress often begins again.